we love talking budget travel, and we want other people to know that it's possible. We didn't know we could get away with doing the things we're doing, the traveling using the points and miles, using Hyatt as a transfer partner. We stay in almost exclusively Hyatt and Hilton hotels, and we haven't paid for one yet. So it is possible. We're going to talk about travel essentials, but not probably in the way you're thinking. We're talking travel essentials, that things that are essential to our travel. First one.
Yeah, like cost and chasing the deal.
Cost. We use Google Flights to search for inexpensive flights. We fly budget airlines. We are sometimes restricted to a backpack, so that kind of helps determine what we're going to take. We've also discovered points and miles, so sometimes we will use points to fly.
What we found is a credit card is a tool. It's not something that we carry a balance on, but it's a tool to allow us to travel cheaply.
Yep, and we get the points mostly through sign-up bonuses. We had an American Airlines card last year, and the points from that allowed us to go on 2 separate trips. Anything else on the cost of airlines?
No.
Okay. Then the next thing, there's probably more to say about the cost actually. We use Google Flights, and somebody asked a specific, how do I use Google Flights? So you go to Google Flights or google.com/flights, and I will put in the dates if I am restricted by dates. If I am not restricted by dates, I'll leave the dates empty, but I will put in the parameters. Like, we always fly out of Raleigh. We are close to Charlotte, but we don't like to fly out of Charlotte. It's a lot of traffic to navigate. So we fly out of Greensboro and we fly out of Raleigh. So determine which airport you want to fly out of, and then we leave the destination empty.
For instance, a trip to Minnesota, that's not someplace, St. Paul, Minneapolis, we had not really thought about going, but it turned out to be a good trip.
Yeah, we discovered we'll get on Google again and we'll say what's interesting, or we'll go to ChatGPT and type in what's a 3-day itinerary for Minneapolis St. Paul, and it will give us some ideas. And we had no idea of all the things that we could do there. A great trip, great trip.
Yeah, and the other thing is we like food, so by going to different places, different areas of the country, it allows us to sample some of the local food.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to eat at local restaurants. We try to stay away from chains. We know what all those taste like, so it's fun. And we are also, by using local restaurants, we're able to meet people from the area, and so it's fun.
And that's how we discovered a new airline. We discovered Sun Country Airlines. We would have never known about Sun Country Airlines.
Friendliest.
They call it Minnesota Nice, I found out.
Yeah, it was a great flight or flight.
Yeah. And if you need to know anything else about costs, or you have questions about costs, if you will put them in the comments, we will address them. Just let us know. Okay, time.
Most of our trips are three, three, 3 nights. So time is very important that we don't waste it. So we try to leave in the morning, get a morning flight if we can, so that we'll arrive in time to do some sightseeing the first day, and that makes it seem a little longer.
We found out through trial and error that we don't like to arrive late. Anytime after 5 p.m. is like a wasted day because we arrive tired. Restaurants start closing. Flying later in the day, you're more susceptible to be canceled, or your flight canceled or delayed because of weather. And if the airline gets backed up in the morning, it just kind of dominoes throughout the day. So the later those flights are, the more you're at risk for a canceled flight.
We typically like to go to a good restaurant our first night, and because usually we've traveled or we haven't had a lot of time to sit down and eat a good meal and talk, and so it's nice to get there in time to do that.
Something else we discovered is we only want to fly nonstop.
Yeah, again, it's a time issue. For instance, if we flew from here, we were going to Florida, we had to go through Atlanta, then if we get there, there's a flight delay. A way to avoid wasting time.
And we had a flight cancel. We were flying out of Raleigh. We had a flight delay, eventually canceled because we're an hour and a half from Raleigh. We just came home. But if we had been on a second leg or on a first leg, waiting on the second leg, and it's someplace we were not prepared to spend the night, that would have been not good.
Yeah, and it avoids you having to cancel reservations, cancel hotel rooms, maybe restaurant reservations. If you had activities, tours, there's a lot involved if you are delayed and you can't make your destination. So
lots of reasons. Nonstop is just something we prefer. Now, if we are going on a week-long international trip, that's different. These little 3-night trips, nonstop, non-negotiable, nonstop. Then the other thing that is an essential to us is that our destination has some type of interest.
Yeah, whether it be a Niagara Falls for the obvious, or whether it's going to New Mexico and you just want to see the geography there. You want to see the pueblos. You want to tour Santa Fe. So there needs to be an interest that we both have an interest in, and so you do some research beforehand, and that's part of the anticipation. It's building interest, and you're looking forward to it. So that's part of our fun too, is planning once we do decide on a destination, deciding what we're going to do and where we're going and where we're going to stop and eat and where we're going to what we're going to see along the way.
Yeah, for us, this has been a year. This was our 25th wedding anniversary. And so instead of doing one thing on our anniversary, we decided to do one thing a month. So we traveled to almost every month. I think it was one month we didn't travel.
Yeah.
We traveled somewhere different every month. And we have discovered we tried out 2 all-inclusive resorts. And I think we've discovered that I can understand why some people like them. That just didn't fit the way we like to travel. We like to experience the culture and interact with the people and the food and walk the town. And the all inclusives that we went to really isolated you within that resort. And so it didn't encourage or even advise that you leave the resort to go interact with the local people. And so we discovered that's just not our thing. We prefer to be within the location we are. We flew a Velo. We were going to Gloucester and Salem, Massachusetts, because we found a really cheap deal to Manchester. That's not an airport that was on our radar. It's in Manchester, New Hampshire.
It is.
Then we rented a car and had a lovely drive and drove down to Salem and went to Gloucester, used the train. It was an amazing trip. We would have never found that if we weren't budget travelers.
It was a great trip. It's just, but since we did do it once a month, we got back from a trip, and now we're looking forward to our next one and planning. So it's fun. The anticipation of it is fun, and then you start your trip. It's been great.
Well, that's probably all we're going to talk about today, but if you have any questions, we'd love to chat with you about how to do it. If you have an interest, please drop those down in the comments and we will address it in a future video.
Well, that's how we plan our trips. How about you? How do you choose flights or set your travel budget? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to chat about it. We're already thinking about what to cover in our next video. Should we go deeper into flight hacks or talk about packing tips? Please let us know. We appreciate you sticking with us to the end of this video. We share travel tips, packing videos, and tools for navigating the points and miles ecosystem. If this interests you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.